Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radio. Yes, I know it's Sunday and we're talking about Saturday. Well, things happen. When your internet goes down, there's nothing you can do. You're stuck. You can't. Let's try it from your Wi-Fi from your phone, and it's like being on a distant planet. This is Album Review Saturdays 2026, episode 8. And yeah, it's Sunday. And yeah, we took in the U.S. Olympic game, gold medal game, those of us that could watch it.
My life.
But welcome to the show that never ends. Come inside. It's time to review some new albums. We do this every week. And speaking of every weekend, hey, it's Deb Armitage Hicks Maloney. She had to go to work. Why? She had to go to work because we can't do the show if she doesn't have internet, so she went to work. What a trooper. What a trooper.
Yeah,
right?
It's all right. We did it. Thank you for being accommodating. Yes.
Yeah, it's all right. And they want to find out about albums. They'll go on a Sunday. They'll come on a Monday.
True.
I reviewed three albums on BeyondYourRadio.com. They're there in written format, non-AI driven. Oh, I don't know. This was a tough one. Don't expect anything royally piffy this week because these were intense listens for the most part. We go a full-on extra 3 because you're here, right? So pay attention to those 3 after these 3. This is one of those album review Saturdays that the listening experience is one that cannot be gulped in a single setting. These albums of 2026 on this week are to be taken at their place, their subtly digestible mojo, listening with an intent to discover, finding a position within the message, maybe beyond the message, the beauty of it, or necessity to the overall audioscape of musical expression coming from the artist or the band. The first is an exceptional classicalist at the 12-string guitar that I have to thank Rick Beato for mentioning him many years ago. I pay attention, I follow, and I've been waiting for his follow-up to the exceptional solo songs written by J.S. Bach that he did in 2022. And here it is, front and center. Then we go to this artist's creative subconscious that he just couldn't keep to himself. That's the original idea, was just, something he could, tinker in his brain. I think his brain's a dangerous place. As Tori Amos once alluded to, that she wants to hear a lullaby, she'll call this guy. But it's delivering more obtuse work now. It has this beyond 5 studio albums now, and hell, it's got double that in remixes in just over 22 years. Electronic, industrial, art use rock and metal. Then we head down the street, literally, to a barn burning of a blues roots rock and raw nature that might come as a huge surprise to a lot of you. I know it shocked the shit out of me to find out. So let's get on this all together.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So up first, this gentleman here, Alan Mearns. If you're not familiar, yes, Rick Beato a few years ago said this man has 12 followers on YouTube. Why? And I'm like, that's a hell of a catch. I'll listen to that. And he talked about his songwriting with this gentleman that he did a while back. So Alan Mearns has this very old Western kind of feel to him, songwriting wise, and where he's been. But he is an exceptional 12-string classical guitarist. I know 12-string guitar pieces that are over 1 hour and then some are probably never going to win 1 million in record sales, right? It's people are going to go, geez, Alan's in town, or Metallica, Alan or Metallica. I'm sure Alan Mearns is more than aware of this as well, but what he truly is a man very much aware of the incredible extension, beauty, and possessive nature that a music of this magnitude and in the centuries can invoke an incredible spirit, a breath across you like the ghost of 1,000,000 souls. Maybe I am getting piffy. Lorca, his follow-up to Say Solo of 2022, continues his lone guitarman, not lone gunman, saga, but this time with a different spirit at the historical astral plane that he seems to come from. Instead of the depths and interpretations of my beloved Bach, which if he'd have done it, I'd have gone drooling into that. Alan takes on Federico Garcia Lorca, the legendary Andalusian poet. Spain's community knows him well, but I don't think any of us know very much other than his connection to Salvador Dali.
Mm.
So he even did stage settings for Lorca because Lorca's a playwright more than a musician of any sort.
Hmm.
So that's enough of the history lesson. If you want more, you know where you can reach in your melting time of content. Yes, that's a poke at Dolly. Mearns here takes his handmade classical guitar right into the heart of an interesting line of Spanish composition that kind of have a way of having like a light an igniting of sounds into color and a variety of emotions along the sound storytelling journey that has a different kind of grip than I was prepared for at first. We start off in 1915, Capricho Español, Op 39. Yeah, there's where you title your songs and shit, right? Good luck with it. Hey, let's find that one on the. That's from Enrique Granados, whom we follow in and out with other Spanish composer greats like Isaac Albéniz. He was 1860 to probably what 1909. Manuel de Falla 1876 to 1946. So isn't it funny how some people just lived longer and other people just that they kicked it early? You know, you had to keep your house clean. You know, I think if you kept your
Yeah,
house clean,
yeah.
you didn't catch
Wash your
any.
hands.
Yeah, dysentery. What? Um, so Spanish 20th century musicians, these are great composers. And a lot of us, I don't think many of us will know. So Alan is opening up a Pandora's box here that don't know. And why is it a guy from Ireland doing this?
I,
Born virtuoso lays down this Spanish classical soloism as if he was born at the very foot of the Alhambra Palace of Granada. His fingers, his mental choices, his melodic passion and connection to the music is it's exhaustive to me. But it's incredible, one of a nearly a kind, right? He's sitting on the foothills of Ireland and he says, I think I'm going to do Spanish. Right? Shouldn't he be doing like a golf mojo kind of thing with his
yeah.
Fresno guitar? There's no hope for you. Um, is there hope for you in listening to this? I hope there is because this is just absolutely gorgeous in a lot of different ways. No, I'm no classical connoisseur. I couldn't tell you what the strings were or how he's doing what he's doing. He is a teacher himself, so he could. And he obviously he's welcome on our program, but he's been on Rick Beato. I don't think he's going to go, oh, I can't wait to be on that guy's show. You know, it's this Polish dude. Whatever, you know.
I'm
But yeah,
Irish.
I would love to be educated because I'm a dumb shit when it comes to this. But I know how gorgeous it is and what kind of meal I could make to it, and it wouldn't be Irish.
Yes. Oh,
Damn.
no, it wouldn't. Um, well, this guy, this just goes to show, when you grow up playing music and learning, the way a lot of us do, 5 years old, dad says you're going to take piano, and then yep, and then your first actual way of communing with music with your friends is through just regular band or marching band or orchestra. So this just lends to the things of music can really expand who you are and what your experiences are before without even having to leave the band room, or your practice room, whatever. This guy being from Belfast, Ireland, and showing that music transcends geography, culture, time, even, and still being able to connect to it and looking at who his influences were. Interesting. You got Eddie Van Halen all the way to Bach, Vivaldi, and Paganini. So
Paganini.
yeah, so that's and Steve Vai and all the sorts. But I find it interesting that as a man that grew up in Belfast, then studied at Appalachian State. Okay, so he was always looking to go outside of his fiddling violin that he took up at 5 years old. Guitar was sparked by hearing a friend playing Johnny Be Good. So you
Oh,
know, yeah, that's pretty cool, huh?
that is.
And this, I'm not one for just an acoustic instrumental album from start to finish. This was beautiful. I mean, this guy, the way he plays these strings, and if you didn't know anything about him, know his name, nothing, just put this album on, you would think he was Spanish for sure. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
what I always, this is the kind of music when I think of a Spanish guitarist, this was this album. My favorite song on the album was La Vega.
La
That
Vega.
was gorgeous, gorgeous. So, how old is he? Or is he in his
I think in 40s,
40s?
I want to say. Yeah.
40s, I was gonna say, yeah. But awesome. Thanks for pushing me to do that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was it was
a- a-
nice.
it's you can actually hear the finger movement
Yes,
on the
you can.
strings. It's
You
almost like a
can.
breathing that's
Yeah.
going on, right? Uh, I,
Yeah.
I
Very
believe it's something that Ellen Mearns is intentional with that. I think it's the
okay.
closeness of it. I think it's, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Especially how
Yeah.
he holds the guitar because he does not hold it standard. He holds like this.
Okay.
So, elegance has its place here, but it's way different than that, really. Um, this doesn't flare to flamenco. We're not talking El Demiola here in any way, shape, or form. It holds the truth
Correct.
and life and the times of Lorca's energy and the surroundings, how his life must have swirled around him, impressing upon him, torturing him at times, and a little bit of filling of the ego, and then tormenting him in other ways. Um, Obviously affected by his time in New York and Cuba. This sort of reads like a
Yeah.
Godfather saga in a way. Um, Socialistic points of view and gathering the attention in the wrong ways, maybe. It's the power of belief, the writing, and the person we become and end you know, as we do, all of us trespassing in string arrangements of composers of Spain and the reworkings of Alan Mearns. It's kind of this devout expression across a platform that, while being a century old, am I? It's more than
Yeah.
a century old.
Or
Two
yeah.
centuries old. It's a flavor we might not have been audio prepared for, and I will assume at this time that if Mearns, as I see no credit otherwise, I'm he he does the vocal at the end too, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to understand the final note and how it doesn't really hold, it just falls.
False.
Um it kind of it I don't know, I feel jaded in that. I thought it should have
Mm,
ended in a more beautiful thing, but I don't know the whole. However, Lorca, except for that 1 minute and 25 seconds at the end, is an
yeah.
absorbing exposure to a classical maestro from Ireland, conjuring a fabulous connection to Spanish composition in a timetable of one solitary soul. I mean, if you're anyone in this, Maynard James Keenan is a staple of experimental rock, from his band Tool to A Perfect Circle to getting calls late at night from Tori Amos to say "Sing me a lullaby" or whatever, and whoever else he might associate himself with. But no truer words could be on the cover of a band's album more so than this one. we can leave it to Maynard Keenan to um, indirectly or obtusely be very much aware of the surroundings of Puscifer's latest record, and Normal isn't. Yeah, and while we are very aware of the play on words, the political viewpoint, we are also aware of the band's immortality and playful nature within the industrial, electronic dim, got of this deep, dark, uncharacteristic punk that's on this.
You're an idiot. You embody every bit of it. Even set a new precedent. Empirical. Concrete evidence. Minimal due diligence. We concluded what is obvious. You're a bunghole.
Kind of
Yeah.
personified a little bit differently and possibly mutilated in some cases in this, right? I believe it's Karina Round and Matt Mitchell, along with Mr. Keenan, have crafted a new monster, and they're doing what they do best, unleashing it with no regrets. Isn't that the way? You know, it's like the Mandalorian. It is the way, but it's the
Yeah.
Puciferian way. Normal isn't comes from a moody industrial groove place that we've been before. The first record, you know, V is for vagina. That's how it comes in. You know, it just comes in on a groove and a bass line, and this one's riddled with undertones, samples, layering. It's difficult to nab some of this at first. The second time around, your lyrical impressions are kind of lost. It comes forward, it goes back. It's her, it's him. It's an intense listen with an enormous amount of sound deflection that like attention deficit disorder in some cases where I
Yeah.
want to pay attention, but you go, hey, 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 over here. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, why are they doing that? It sounds enormous in your earphones against that backbone that might be, well, basically the defining simplicity of it, really. So that's a Radiohead technique. I hear a
Mm.
lot of excuse me, people on the internet and people that review Radiohead, they go, well, it's just a simple chord, right? And but where it goes, all the other stuff, and that's
Yep.
where Puscifer here is. You know, if you can hear the rhythm, the groove, the industrial groove of it, and that's really simple. But the rest of it is more complex and layered and dark atmospheric lyrics that go in and out of things like anger, finger pointing, dangerous places. Make you know, however long it may take you to get to those lyrics, because it can take you a while. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
point out again and again in dark tonality throughout that it's thrusting, right? That first opening track, that's what it's called.
Trust. Trust. Yep.
Maybe it's not such a stage setter that we were expecting that first piece to be, but the backbone of this radiates throughout the entire record. It's a gut check in industrialism and punk. But let's see where Damn is on this one, because
Oh my God.
is
I knew
this is
nothing
not
about this.
normal.
I know. Normal isn't. Pucifer, is that how you say it? Pucifer?
Pucifer.
Pucifer. It's a made-up word,
Yes.
just so you know. Um, and it just sounds so gross because I was saying Pucifer. So I'm glad. I wish you had told me ahead of time because that's all I can hear in my head when I see the word now. Um, the album cover, this reminds me of David Rose in the episode of Schitt's Creek when he goes out and he's stuck with the Amish people and he's sitting out in the field. Like that's all I can think of. But the names of the songs kind of go with that album cover. You know, you've got Public Stoning. I mean, that's perfect, you know. Um, Thrust, Impetus, however you want to go about it. But this now I read that they've had a rotating cast of musicians over their couple albums, right?
Yeah, but the rotating cast is outside the three. So
Okay.
Corinna I want to say she was not in on the first record. Maybe that's the one but it's like Dana Carey, all right, the drummer. He's from Tool. He comes in and out.
Okay.
There's a multiplicity of players on the record that come in because Keenan, he's vocal and keyboard, really, right? Synth. She's
Okay.
doing synth. She's not a. I think she can play guitar. But those are the guitarists coming in and out. Mitchell
Okay.
is bass. So, and then you got to have the drums. So,
Well, I like that they do that because you can kind of switch up what you're doing when you get those other influences in there. And when you just read about the three of their influences, I mean, it's such a gamut of things. You got Depeche Mode, New Order, Nine Inch Nails, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and the humor of Monty Python, which believe me, if
not
that's
lost
some,
on you.
it's not, bring out your dead or my Wi-Fi. Um, so this album was so interesting, but like you said, I didn't have enough time to actually gather it all up to understand
Mhm.
exactly where they were heading. But at first, looking at the name of the band and looking at the album cover, I thought I wasn't going to like it. So don't judge an album by its
That's good.
cover, or do so a little bit and know a little bit of what you're going to expect. But I really, Thrust had me hooked. That if they wanted to get somebody like me to listen to their album, they picked a good song to put first, in my opinion. Because otherwise I would have just looked at that and said, well, we got to get Jeff Young on the show because I don't think I can go down this road.
Well,
But I
then,
did.
then if you haven't listened to V is for Vagina, that one kicks off just like it. Like,
Really?
yeah, bass
Okay.
line
Well,
and
smart.
yeah, really. That's my favorite of theirs, really. But I mean, I've liked all the records. They've never done anything bad in any way, shape, or form that I've been
I
to.
read this and I'm not sure if it's true because I sometimes, AI and all of that doesn't give you the truth. But supposedly he had the band, it was a fictional band and it showed up on a TV show episode. But I don't know what TV show. I couldn't find it. It wouldn't give me more information. What do you know about that?
I know that the band has at times it seems like Keenan is trying to have a bit more fun
Mm-hmm.
in the darkness. Okay. And he's likened it to like their almost comic book alien space kind of thing, right?
Or Monty
Um,
Python.
right. There's no subject matter seems off the table or anything of that nature. He's
Okay,
still
got it.
painting, political things, but um this record to me was the heaviest of public stoning.
Yeah,
Why am I fluttering at the titles of tracks? But pendulum, the
yes.
very and normal isn't, and things are not normal right now, and there's a lot of disassociative beliefs.
Yeah, I like that.
I honestly think that they do love to entertain. I think that I've had friends that have gone to see them play live, and you
Really.
never know what you're going to get because it's more of an entertainment value than a social piece.
And
So
that's kind of what I read. Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, and
Cool.
they can all of a sudden do country, and
Well, because
go
They said Waylon Jennings and Johnny
yeah,
Cash. That's interesting.
yeah. But so when I said it's a gut check for industrialism with a punk rock like setting seems very set to a slightly familiar algorithm for them, I think. But somewhere between Nine Inch Nails, Tool, and while
Yep.
I completely enjoy the groove with noise canceling assistance, the incredible layers of synth, wave, of a gothically handled pulse that this has.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah,
Cool. It was cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't believe it.
yeah, I couldn't believe it either.
I thought AI told me total lies. Total lies.
When you first listen to
Was
this album, you cannot have any idea about this band except for one thing. They have a raw, untamed, magical hold on the blues from a swampy position to an energetic 60s electric blues kind of boogie to a full on barn burning good time at every end of the audio spectrum of what a blues record should be. It feels alive. It feels real, extremely authentic. It's not being like overly inventive in any way or shape or form. It's it's been stingy. It's kind of grimy. It's flat out ignoring everything studio and going for right up close, personal, and extremely in the moment. It's almost as if it's a live concert with the audience somehow watching from a distance, or I don't know. They're too enthralled and grooved to make anything that would disturb the overall whatever's taking place in the studio. It's tremendous. All hail these blues souls, these revivalists in just it's a good slap that you need on the ass, call it, and cooked it up, right? They could be playing like your mama's front porch. They could be playing between two bars, all right, at somebody's wedding. It's a wedding in the South. You know, the House of
Yeah.
Blues.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to be from a big city
Oh, yeah.
or a down home blues area with when you go at it like this, there's no way. They got
Yeah.
this fever, and while their pitches are raw and untamed, they're righteously hitting all the right spots, just pure, letting it out. Is it Chicago? Is it like a New Orleans hybrid? Got to be Clarksdale or St. Louis or something. Lockport, New York, just up the street. Home of the widest bridge in North America, the Erie Canal, and the place where my wife and I spent a great deal making out in my parents' yard.
And I
What
wouldn't
the
know you. I
fuck?
wouldn't know you without Lockport, New York, Mark. I mean,
How
it's
does
where we
Handsome
all come
Jack,
together.
Handsome Jack, barn burners, all one word, exclamation point. The barn is on fire. I think there's even a car burning inside. It's probably somebody's old Buick or something. I don't know. Fronted by a really good soulful vocal on a guitar too, that's kind of holding this excellent roots rock Americana blues thing. His name is Jameson Pessuit.
Yeah.
I grew up in Lockport. There's no Pessuits there.
No, there's not.
There's Grancelli's, there's Ulrich's, there's what
There's
the
no
shit.
sweet.
Then there's Joey Verdonacelli, Bernie Hayes. They got this killer rhythm section. They're kind of handling the backing vocals too. This trio, man. Wow, where have I been?
I don't know.
And you know, I really never really given much appreciation to, I don't know, from our neck of the United States for any of this shit to happen.
Exactly.
I'm a blues band from Buffalo. So what kind of blues you play? The unemployed blues? The
Yeah,
Bethlehem
the-
steel plant clothes? What? Come on.
I can't get all
You're not
flats.
channeling Robert Johnson. What? You would have thought these guys were from some other area of the country, the way the spirit is feeding them, track by track, expressions of boogie. Long since past a time of prime radio. That's probably why these guys aren't on radio. No one's going
Yeah.
to play it, you know?
Nope. No.
And Lockport's only station is what's it called? Solid Gold or whatever.
I don't know. WLLV.
WLVL, right?
Well, yeah, that's it.
Shout out to WLVL. I've never listened to it in the last 28 years. I don't know, but they're nailing it down on Barn Burners, which has me thinking my ears. This is not their first record, so gonna have to go back. I didn't have time, obviously, with what we had going on. So damn, you're a Lockportian almost through and through. What's up?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm Western New York. I've lived a few places, but Lockport was the longest time of any place. Even my childhood home, Lewiston, I moved out of there when I was 20 and I was in Lockport for 25. So, this is another example, like Alan Mearns earlier, where music transcends geography, culture, and time. Um, you can't judge a band by its roots. Um, I texted you, I think, and I said, am I getting the right information on this band? Because Lockport, New York, just like you said, um, Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes has said they're a premier modern rock group. All right. You hang your hat on that
Yeah.
because we love the Black Crows. Um, you said this was extremely in the moment, non-studio. Well, if you look at who they love and cite, you've got Muddy Waters and CCR and John Lee Hooker. You know, it was just very Southern Memphis soul to me. I've been to Memphis, listened to bands going up and down Beale Street. They intertwine in some of their songs a little bit more rockabilly too. I heard that in Polk Salad Annie. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
just that name of that song feels rockabilly. And how do you learn rockabilly in Lockport? Well, you learn music and you learn to appreciate music, and certain music touches your soul. And then that's where you go with it. I mean, there's so many things as a musician you can pick from, and you've got to find your other fellow musicians that believe what you believe, feel what you feel, and how you want to take what all those things are and make it your own, but not crazy where it's unrecognizable, you know? So I liked Do It To It. The backup singers there was kind of a Joe Bonamassa thing going. He's got his girls up there, you know. Let's Go Downtown harmonica was so good, very quick paced. Like I said, the Polk Salad Annie rockabilly feel, but my favorite was Ghost Woman. Um, this album, start to finish, I just had maybe it's because of my nostalgia trying to figure out, well, what road were they driving down? Was it Walnut and Genesee? And what was happening over there when they wrote this song? Makes no sense. But you know what, Mark? You just go down the road a piece, the Gasport, you go in the country there and you light yourself up a nice bonfire and the moonshine stills that are out in the, property that people left. There's not a far cry from that kind of
Hmm.
Americana.
No,
And
it's not.
yeah, it's not too far fetched, but so fun. Now we got to go see them.
Yeah, yeah.
Call
So
us up.
my favorite songs
Yeah,
were
what was it?
I almost died at Laporte's. No. I also enjoyed I got my drugs at the Lockport Apothecary.
That's on Walnut.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to lay into the production because I don't think that this band gives a shit. I really don't.
No, no, that
I think it's meant to be them, the way it sounds and presents itself, so that nothing's going to be dated on this ever. I'm sure live it might take on a slightly different feel depending on the room they play, what the sound might be like, the placement,
okay.
the timing, the rhythm and blues presentation is pretty darn authentic.
Attitudes. Let's go
Yeah,
see him at Attitudes. Yeah.
yeah, probably played there. So uh, it feels southern, but the band itself couldn't be more Yankee Doodle Dandy. That's a great cover. I love that.
Yep.
The fire inside there. There's a car
Yep.
burning. I can't believe the town that Susie Q and I grew up in has this band in their national repertoire now, being touted by Chris Robinson and the Brotherhood. Not to mention, also, All Them Witches, whom I've
Really.
mentioned on this show as being one of
Yes.
the bands that I think is
Yep.
laying it down in a different way. I when those people speak, people listen. When Beyond Your Radio does, they're not quite listening. But hey, if this band from Lockport can do what they're doing, I take that as so you're saying there's a chance. Look out, rest of
Yes.
the blues rock world. Handsome Jack is on the attack.
Love it. So fun.
All right. This woman has such a unique vocal.
Mm,
Her debut record was absolutely stunning, well produced, one of a kind. The production, the capturing of it, I can't remember anything else in her catalog that I've given two shits for since. And I'm
really.
and I'm there again. We're doing the same thing. We're not letting her vocals and pitch highlight things. It's glossed, it's mixed, it's got this hip hop sense I don't need. Her vocals lead more to a jazz environment to me, for connectivity. It's too unique for these kind of tricks to me.
Or delay my flight. I'm flying high now. Above on the clarity of love. I only get what I put into it. I spend my sweet time where I deem fit. I got one life. I'ma let my glow show. Baby, look at this. The embodiment of soul glow. I admit. Paint my own pictures. Gifts on gifts on gifts. Let the load live. Let the word shift. I ain't here to live in fear or just plain old exist. I'ma go ahead and be great. Why not?
I don't need beats and audio talkery confusion. There's a huge disconnect for me on this record, and I can't understand the places where it's going, and I don't feel anything more than follow the leader on this low dangling fruit political social TikTokery that I don't appreciate. But that's just how I sat with this. Jill Scott, to whom this may concern, it didn't concern me. Damn.
Well, she's from, is she from Philadelphia?
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
That would be. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, she's a spoken word poet and she studied to be a high school English teacher. So the political part of it and the spoken word poet part of it as a political theme, I mean, that goes right back to the 60s when he'd be in the little, you know,
Speakeasy.
cafe and listen to all that stuff. And that I'm not there anymore in my life. Like, I just want to enjoy what I'm listening to and not have something browbeaten into me. Um, as far as her, I mean, she toured with a Broadway production of Rent. So maybe that's why her first album had the production feel that you enjoyed, because maybe that came right off of what she was doing more professionally put together, where you when you're doing a Broadway play and traveling around, it's timed and there's no improvisation
No,
when you're
no,
doing
yeah.
that, right? Um, she started the Blues Babe Foundation scholarships for minority students. I love that for her, you know, her resume or whatever. And then when I started reading, you know, I listened to her album. I always listen first and then I do the research. And this was very surprising to me because I would have loved if she had used her musical influences a little more on this album. Uh, Patti LaBelle and Anita Baker. And you know,
Baker,
you said
yeah.
the jazz feel. She cites Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald, but Stevie Wonder and Prince, there
Mm-mm.
wasn't that enveloping of coziness of the way they could make that music feel real to you, no matter what your race or gender. This was a little pushing it down my throat without me really understanding what the hell she's talking about. Um, but one of the songs, she said the same thing 326 times. And she said, do I have to say it again? Well, no, please don't. Like, it was just boring. There was nothing that kind of made me be interested, I guess.
You got a magical voice. Be magical.
Yeah. And you know, she even cited as her first influence Minnie Riperton, who is not somebody that I would normally have loved, but she had that voice, that lilting voice that would make you listen to what she was saying.
Yeah.
Her vocals did not make me listen to what she was
No,
saying.
no. Yeah, I was
So,
hoping for less talk, more vocal,
yeah,
more Anita Baker, more Sarah
yes,
Vaughan. I know she can't reach that Vaughan kind of thing, but reach it your own way. You know, I
I
want
agree.
profound would be nice. But it doesn't.
Profound,
Yeah,
profundity.
but yeah, her. But if you love Jill, maybe you'll find this in there. But I wanted more musicality that made sense to me, to the vocal. So from there we go to the most appropriate band of the day, the
Yes.
Olympians. That's right. In search of a revival, 70s instrumental with beautiful horn section and an almost progressive but non-edgy psychedelic sound to the overall production, which this is where the musicianship will land you somewhere between Chicago and maybe a certain ratio. That's a band. Look it up. And
Okay.
Oregon, which Dan and I have played on, and
Yep.
even maybe the Sanduki Soulmates.
Oh, maybe.
So so what do we got here? This is just carefully produced rock, blues, rhythm and blues revival. The title's right.
Yeah.
They're searching for you to get back on that bandwagon. And when this album will start to sneak up on you, actually. Your first listen, you'll be, oh, okay, yeah, I get where you're headed. Oh, what a beautiful horns, the beautiful horns, the beautiful horns. And you weren't paying attention to the rest of the stuff that's happening. And there's a lot more things going on. Beautiful guitar work, and timings and separations and changes. And that's where I go into the idea of Chicago in a certain ratio, even Oregon. So, damn, how are you with another instrumental record?
Oh, it was good. I mean, most of the influences of this band I've never heard of other than Isaac Hayes and Curtis Mayfield and Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
Yeah, what that makes sense, right? Because this is very there's a theatrical sense to it
absolutely.
without being like down your throat
Hmm.
theatrical, right?
Yep.
More subtle. The instrumental retro style he cites being inspired by his love of Greco-Roman mythology, and that's why there's some harps in some of their recordings. And I guess Pasner visited Greece at one point and had dreams that prompted him to tell stories of the Greek gods and write music as such. So I the names of the songs and the sounds of the songs, I couldn't really tell what they were going for. Like the theme part of it wasn't working for me, like Strawberry Kiwi to California and that kind of stuff. But I liked the Middle Eastern one. I can't pronounce what that's called. The Saraswati Puja or whatever.
Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah.
Okay, so
That
I'm
is that
sorry
is the
for that
track that on the
language.
first go through was the most standout, right? And then as you go on,
Yeah,
it still stands out because of
yeah.
how different it is compared to the
I think
rest.
that's probably what it was. But then that's why it did stand out was because like knowing the background of where they came from and what they were trying to do, I went, hmm, interesting. Kind of like, when the Beatles did their thing. But I liked Here Comes Ben.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a good one, but interesting. Like, how do you find these people, Mark? You just every week is a new, it's a box of chocolates.
Yeah, I try. There's this thing where I could go to everybody releases a record every other year or the every other year
Hmm.
after that, and
Hmm.
I could listen. We haven't done Lucinda Williams, right? And I've done
I
Lucinda,
know.
and there's other ones, and
We got it.
I even pushed off Tigran Hamasi until tomorrow, till next week,
Okay.
because if Tigran would have been on this week, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, there's so that kind of leads us to the last individual here, who I have been following since the beginning of her career, the New Zealander, Bic Runga. Now, Bic has what a name, right?
Yeah.
Red Sunset is the new record. Now I think she's now 50 years old. She's a little younger than I am.
Yeah.
Um, she had this ridiculously good debut record. An edge to her vocal, very pure sounding vocal message, raw, talented singer, having that upper register, um, songs of like hope and like lightened, like a sad love story, or or
Yeah.
just understating things like just drive, which is one of the songs on the first record, and just lovely. My buddy and I, Bill, who owned the record store in Orchard Park, the CD Exchange.
Oh yeah.
We used to love her. Several records, came after that. But it's been climbing to she can't survive in that field anymore, and it's moved to an overproduction, and
Mm.
more pop oriented playmanship and production. And for some reason, we believe that this woman needs to be vocally assisted in the production. Her voice is being modulated into some uh,
Um,
the Prince thing, audio tamper. What the hell did Prince invent? God bless me. Why can't I think of the name of the
I don't know. Let me call
audio
him.
auto tune?
Oh, auto tune. He
I know we
invented
want to
auto
make it
tune.
sound the best, but with the breaks she used to have in her voice, the
Mm.
cracks. I'm looking for the cracks. The cracks is
Yeah.
what makes it authentic. There's no
Yes.
cracks here in this pavement. It's a red sunset, and the album cover, blurry red, and
Yeah.
undescriptive, right? So is the rest of the record. To me, damn.
Well, I think this was recorded in an Airbnb in Paris. And so I don't know if she was trying to go for that, avant-garde, you know, theatrical black and white type of movie that we always associate with the French. But yeah, I didn't know anything about her again. I always say that every single artist we have, but I was disappointed more when I read about her background and her parents' background and then re-listened to this and said, why'd you have to go where you're going here? Because her mom was a lounge singer, and I love lounge singers because you're there, it's raw, it's smoky, it's you get your voice, whatever is going to happen, and like you said, that that little crack in your voice, that little, sometimes gives a little bit more emotion. Um, she was inspired by Karen Carpenter. So she started with drums at the age of 11. Her sisters are professional singers. I don't know if she has recorded with them before. I did on this album, I gravitated to more of the slower, more delicate songs,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't put my finger at it until you said, where are the cracks? Because I liked Hey Little One.
Hey, little one, tying ribbons to your shiny dark hair, to your dark hair. Under the sun, the sky's the limit to the dreams in your head, all those dreams in your head.
Well, me as a mom, if I was rocking my child to sleep and I was singing to them, it would be more real if it wasn't perfect. Um, it's like Summertime. That was slower, that was delicate, but where's the cracks? And I'm glad you said that, Mark, because there was something missing with, I like this, but it could be even better on some of the songs. I did like Glass Atrium. It was a little more plucky. It was a little bit more of the instruments than her voice. And she's from New Zealand, you said?
She's New Zealand descent. I don't know where she lives now, but she's yes.
Okay. Yeah, because at first, without reading about her, I thought with that name in New Zealand, is she Aboriginal? But her name is like derived from the Chinese word for the color of jade.
Yeah,
I
but I
thought it
think
was a
that's
pen.
probably the family lineage, or something of that nature.
Okay,
They were
got
the
it.
mother or the father. I didn't go back and
Yeah. No, but I mean, interesting human being and obviously talented, but I'll believe what you've got to say as far as where it could have been based
Yeah,
on what you've
where
heard
go
before.
back because her first two records are astoundingly good. I put them in the rankings of some of those female albums of all time. In the top
Mm,
50 for sure.
mm,
Maybe not the top 25. That's a little bit difficult to crack, but
yeah,
yeah, her debut record was solid and simple, and I think that's where it needed to be was when you have a vocal like that. So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
What did you think of these six records? Let us know. 2026 carries on. Yes, next week we will explore the latest from Tigran Hamasyan. And if you don't know, you should know. If you do know, then you know. He's quite the pianist. And someone said to me that this is the one that reaches back to Root, which is one of my favorite records of his. So I'm really anxious. I've already started on it, but and there'll be others that'll be a surprise as well. So let us know what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're listening to. Hey, point one out that we haven't gotten to yet. I'm always looking for a thrill. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course now we're doing this TikTok. And a couple hundred people at a time saying, "Hey, okay, great." Articles, videos, and a podcast coming soon, all about music, albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Go beyond your radar with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching, even on a Sunday. And happy listening.
Thank you.